everybody, and today we are here with another board game review, and today we'll be reviewing Pandemic. This is a great board game because of the current situation. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you.
You're looking at coronavirus? Alright. Yeah. Pandemic is a cooperative game for 2 to 4 players, which plays in about 45 minutes, and it's all about, well, curing viruses, finding the cures for 4 different kind of viruses that have attacked the whole world, and you're moving from one place to another place, collecting samples from different cities, and then using those samples to find a cure in your lab, and then using that cure to actually eradicate completely that particular virus. So let me show you the different components of the game, and then we will look at how we can play it and how do we actually win this game. So what I have done already is the initial setup. Again, we are not going to go into the detailed rules of how to set up, how to play. This is just going to give you a quick overview of why you should be playing Pandemic, one of the classic cooperative games. Now, our players already start in Atlanta, and that's the starting point for most of the all the players. And from Atlanta, you will be moving to cities doing different actions. So every player gets a player aid, which tells them about the different actions they can do. So the things they can do is drive or use a ferry. So what drive means is, on the map, different locations are linked by lines. So using one of your actions, you're going to actually move from one place to any of the connected cities, and that means you're using either a boat or the car to actually move to that city. So that's one of the actions that you're going to do. Then another action that you can do is take a direct flight. So these sample cards that you actually, or player cards that you get, can be used in 2 ways. One of the actions is that you can actually discard this card, and then by discarding that card, this acts as a flight. That, for example, this is a Cairo card, so I can discard it and then I can take a flight to Cairo. These white cubes are the research stations. So we can, if we build more research stations, then we can move from one research station to another research station. That's also possible as well. So that's the different ways, 4 different ways in which we can move around the board. Okay. Once we have moved around the board, what we can do what are the other actions that are available to us? The first thing is building the research station. To build a research station, you must discard one card, again a player card, again these are multi-use cards, of the same color in the same city that you are standing in. So there are 4 diseases and 4 colors in which the world is divided. The Europe, America region is blue. The Africa and South America region is yellow disease, is more there. In the Middle East region, Middle East Asia and Russia, you have black. And in East Asia, Australia, you have the red disease. Then one of the most common things that you will be doing on your turn is treat diseases. That's the next thing you can do. So to treat a disease, all you need to do is go to that city and you pick up 1 cube at a time. So this actually shows how much contagious these cubes show, how much contagious that city is, or how much virus has spread in that city. The next section that someone can do is, all the players will have some set of cards. One of the things we can do is, once we are in the same city, both the players, they can share knowledge. So maybe I need some blues to actually complete my sample. So someone can share me the blue cards so that I can find a cure for the blue disease. But there is a hand limit, so you always have to manage that. And the last section we are going to do is discover a cure. So to discover a cure, you will need a handful of these cards, and once you have enough of the same color, then you can discard all of them at a research station, and this is actually the samples that you have collected from different cities. And once you have actually submitted the samples, you can actually cure the disease. So at the bottom, there are these 4 diseases. Once you have cured something, the disease bottle actually goes on top of the virus picture, which indicates that now you have found a cure for that virus. So that's the main objective of the game: find the cure and then cure the diseases.
Now let's go to the other parts of the game.
Yes. So how will these diseases spread is through the infection deck. So at the end of each player's turn, you are going to find out that which infection has spread in which city. So for example, at the end of this level, this yellow infection has come, and it will tell you which city it has come in, Buenos Aires. So once you see that, what you're going to take is take one of the infection cubes, a single one, and put it in that particular city, that now Buenos Aires has an infection. Again, in the end of next city, you will get Miami, and for example, in Miami this will come as well. Now this is how actually the infections will keep on going. But one of the more complicated things is when an infection spreads in one of the existing cities which already has an infection. So for example, Washington already had 3 blue cubes, and you get another Washington card. It's already at a 99%, and another infection cube has to be placed here. So what that indicates is that an outbreak is happening from that particular city. Now the virus or the people with the virus are actually traveling from this city to all the adjacent cities. So even though Miami is adjacent to Washington, but well, not physically, but in the game map. So what's going to happen is that the people have traveled, and now Miami is going to have not just its own yellow cube, but there are also blue cubes there as well, that people having this disease has traveled there as well. So it makes the game more complex, and every connected city from the Washington is going to get one more blue cube. So an outbreak meter increases. So on the edge of the board we have the outbreak meter. So the first outbreak has occurred. At any time in the game, if the outbreak happens to go up to 8th level, it's automatically indicated by a skull and bone symbol that now you have reached the maximum outbreak limit, and you instantly lose the game. So wherever you see cubes of 3, that might be one of the first targets, that one of the strategy you're going to do, that we will have to target those cities, because if an outbreak happens, it's going to be bad. Now the player deck actually acts as a timer. If you run out and all of these cards go in the discard pile, then that means you have wasted so much time and the pandemic has not been stopped, so you lose the game as well. So you have to be careful that this acts as a time limit for your game. Now when at the end of your turn, even though you're putting infections, you're also picking up new player cards as well, but one of those cards might be a pandemic, a green pandemic card. First thing that will happen is it will increase the rate of infection. If your infection rate keeps on increasing more, it will go to 3. So at the end of every player turn, 3 new cities are going to get infection.
Number 2 is going to be a nightmare. The bottom card, you draw the bottom card from the infection deck. And for example, I got Mumbai. And this is the terrifying part. In Mumbai, you put 3 cubes.
Yeah. So even though for all other cities you're putting 1 cube, the city at the bottom, that's the second action, gets an immediate 3 cubes immediately. So that creates that, okay, this city has been hit the worst. And what's the last action?
Intensify. Shuffle the cards in the infection discard pile and put them on the top of the infection deck.
Now, this is the coolest mechanic in the game. What this manages is that if every city card or infection card is unique in this deck. So for example, if Mumbai or Delhi or Washington has already gone, you will never see it again in this deck. It's already in the discard pile. Uh, so it's already in the discard pile. So this will never happen again. But what's going to happen is you have to shuffle your discard infection pile. So that means all the cities that are already having infections are
Might
going
come
to get
again.
randomized and then put in the draw pile. So now you already know that next time you're going to pick, it's going to be one of the cities that already has the infection. Now that's the coolest part of the mechanics of this game, that you already know that these cities are going to get worse and worse. So you have to rush your way to the cities before the same city card comes, because you can already see there are cubes there. So you have to start moving around a lot more, clearing up the cubes, and maybe sometimes you have to make those kind of non-productive decisions that I'm going to pick only one, even though I'm sitting here, but I'm going to pick up only one cube. Why? Because I just don't have time to cure all the diseases, because I have to go somewhere else. So that's the decision making that you have to do based on the risk that you are willing to take, that what am I going to do. And that comes to the stage of player powers, because you just, other than these actions, each player is going to have some unique powers, which, and you must use those powers, otherwise you will fail in this game. So overall, that's what you're going to be doing in your typical turn. You're going to move from one city to another, cure the disease, and your turn, pick up more player cards to find more cure samples or tickets, and then spread the infection. And once you have spread the infection, then you plan out your next move, goes to the next player, he does his actions as well. In this way, you keep on doing until you have cured all the diseases that are there, and that's when you win the game, or the outbreak level reaches first, or the player cards get finished first, indicating that you have lost the game. A lot of ways to lose the game, but just one way to win the game, cure all the diseases. Very apt game for current atmosphere. So Ishal, what do you think about the game?
I really like it.
Game-wise, so the components might be a little bit low quality other than the cards. The cards quality is really good.
I love it.
But other than that, a superb game, cooperative. Many people don't even have the concept that board games can be cooperative. Many people don't understand that cooperative games can exist, but this is a true meaning of a cooperative game where everyone is helping each other in finding the cures for diseases. Okay? Highly recommended. Happy gaming!
Happy gaming. Like and subscribe if this helped you a lot.